I've got to do the news!
Do you know these tits, Errol?
I know a lot of tits, Governor, but I don't know any quite as stupid as these two.
Hello there, good people. Welcome to the Brews at 10 on my left eye. I'm your humble host, Lefty. Great to see you all. Solidarity, everybody. As we wet our whistle yet again. Emma Richardson, good evening. Doc Davies, nice to see you in the chat. How dare you make insinuations about my performance with... Oh, you're talking to Davinia, I see. Great to see you. Davinia, congratulations on that win on the football. Let us know how that came about. Was that on the England match? Of course. Victorious earlier. Bit of a nail-biting start. Managed to pull it out the fire in the end. Anyway, that will remind me to remind you, people, no spoilers for live games whilst we're on stream. Big Jerry's with us as well. Nice to see you. We'll warm up here in good time. Let's brew this thing, people. Congratulations again on your victory there, Davinia. Please do hit thumbs up as you join us on stream, please, everybody. That would be fantastic. There's no poll this evening. There are enough distractions as it is, so... I'll begin, as always, with a shout out to the members on the channel. 127 now. We were peaking at about 150, 151 this week, getting us towards the 200 and the final goal of 250. once more. Thank you very much, everybody. For renewals and gifted memberships. Reminder that Super Chats, Super Stickers and Super Thanks are live. They're open. They await you. As does the Buy Me a Coffee page. You'll find the link for that in the description of any content on the channel. So yeah, please do what you can to help give us a bit of a boost on the algorithm, whether that's with hype points, if you're watching on a mobile device, or sharing on your social media as well. Really do appreciate all of your support, thank you. We'll be starting hastily this evening. No comedy clip to warm us up. We'll be getting straight into PMQs and Keith's catchphrases, of course. And another reminder, people, no spoilers in chat. If you've already seen PMQs or elements, snippets of it. Emma, hope you're enjoying our chair as much as possible before the bill arrives. After PMQs, we're going to have another quick look at the latest hot seat. That's the Manchester Mayoral election, of course. Very excited about that on the channel, being Manchester based ourselves. Plus a couple of other more bits and pieces. Just double checking everything's set up here. Should be good to go in a moment, people. Something else I've got to do as well whilst streaming is keep a note of when the topic changes, because we now have chapters on live streams. On the last, I think 4 or 5 now. Thanks to your suggestions from viewers, so do keep them coming in. But I think I'm just about set, and don't worry for anybody who doesn't know what Keith's catchphrases is, although I'm sure that most of you do. I'll be doing a very quick explanation on what it's all about. It's not 5D chess, it's a pretty basic game that we might only be playing a few more times. Davinia is saying in the chat there that you're going to miss Keith's catchphrases. We are working on a replacement. But for now, we'll stick with Keith while it's himself at the dispatch box. Off we go.
We now come to Prime Minister's questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Deliver. Black hole.
Plan for change.
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 Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, so what is it? Well, it's not just a quality item.
It's a quality item, ladies and gentlemen.
There are a few rules. It's very simple. We set 2 words or phrases against one another and keep score the number of times that Keith mentions them. Such is his repetition. Whilst at the dispatch box, we've decided to make it slightly easier to get through the drone of Parliament every Wednesday by having a little game with it. There are a few rules, as I said. The contending phrases must be spoken by Starmer. It's a winner stays on format. We have 10 contenders who battle it out in a league. That is, the winner stays on unless all of the other contenders have been played. Or it's a draw, which happened last week. Another very uneventful 0-0. So let's hope there'll be a change to that this week. Third rule, slight variations are allowed. For example, past tenses or pluralisation. I'll be the judge of what passes or what doesn't. Within the league, it's 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw, and nothing for a loss. There is also a hidden feature word or phrase that can be spoken by anyone apart from Starmer. You can't keep an ear out for that one because you don't know what it is. But that's pretty much all it's about. This is the current table, the standings at the top. We already have a champion. Security was crowned the winner of the league some time ago, actually. Postman Swat in second, very secure there with 22 points. Just missed out on a win in the league by mentions with that one draw. Then it does drop off considerably, just 7 points for change. Budget's underneath. And it has been pretty stationary for a while, the league, but we have had some excitement for you Keith's Catchphrases nerds out there recently. You might notice here Plan has now moved up into 5th. Now, Incredible in the top half of the table will be contending this evening as well. But against whom? We'll take a look at the bottom. So, Plan usurps Clear for 5th place, which leaves Clear in 6th. Deal in 7th, Black Hole in 8th, Fix in 9th place, and tonight's contender, currently sitting bottom of the league, let's give them another go, is Inheritance. So it will be Plan versus Inheritance this evening. There may just be 3 or 4 games left, if it's to be believed that Burnham could be stepping into Downing Street in July. So let's make the most of it. Are we ready? There you can see the 2 contenders. Lindsay Hoyle's ready. We're all ready. Let's go.
Before we come to Prime Minister's questions, may I extend a warm welcome to the Speaker of the House of Representatives of Trinidad and Tobago and his delegation, who are in the gallery today. We now come to questions to the Prime Minister. Dr. Al Pinkerton.
Question number 1, Mr. Speaker.
Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our thoughts, I'm sure the thoughts of the whole House.
It's almost exactly the same as the clip that I used for the intro to Keith's Catchphrase. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Uncanny, isn't it? Of course, it is a pre-programmed robot we're talking about here.
Are with the people of Venezuela. The scenes of destruction are simply harrowing. Mr. Speaker,
It's Inheritance, Davinia. It's Plan versus Inheritance. Inheritance is the challenger.
committed humanitarian funding, deployed expert search and rescue teams, and I can announce today that we will match public donations up to £2 million on aid.
Yeah, and they'd be led by their president if he hadn't been kidnapped by America. Of course, our thoughts go out to Venezuela as well after this terrible natural disaster.
Mr. Speaker, in an increasingly dangerous and volatile world, our defence investment plan commits more to investment on our armed forces. It delivers the modern kit and capabilities.
Okay, slow down, Keith. Had a false trigger with deliver, but he's already got plan in there. Of course, good chance of plan being mentioned with that being in the news just in the last couple of days. We spoke about it on yesterday's stream, of course, so Off to an early start. That's the 0-0 out the way very early on. That's something I like to see. 1-0 now. I know I'm supposed to do the picture first. Stop pointing, Phil. I can see it. And on we go. Graham Turner joining us in the chat. A very good evening to you, brother. Viva Viva Palestina, Solidarity.
Our personnel need to keep us safe, meaning we buy British to create jobs here at home and strengthen our international leadership. Mr. Speaker, Sunday marks the 78th birthday of the NHS, and I'm pleased that under this government waiting lists are down, A&E waits are shorter, and we have the shortest cancer diagnosis times on record. I also welcome the agreement reached with the resident doctors to end the strikes, so our full focus can be delivering further improvements for patients. Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings.
Another false trigger with Deliver. Of course, regular viewers will know I have this essentially Pavlovian trigger response now to the word. Note the absence again of the nodding West Streeting who we saw for so long, but hasn't made an appearance for about, 5 or 6 weeks now, since he resigned.
With ministerial colleagues and others. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings later today.
Dr. Elpington.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I associate myself with both the condolences and also birthday good wishes to the NHS? Everyone in my constituency of Surrey Heath wants a new Frimley Park hospital, but the chosen site, the last remaining fragment of the ancient Frimley Common, is wholly inappropriate. It's inaccessible, behind multiple schools, and environmentally devastating. But worse, over recent weeks, I've received deeply troubling evidence that the preferred relocation site was known and being openly discussed by local political figures in 2023 before the official site selection process had even begun. The entirely reasonable conclusion, Mr. Speaker, is that this project has been compromised from the outset and the site predetermined. I think the Prime Minister would agree that this is no way to begin a multi-billion-pound public procurement process. So would the Prime Minister please step in? Would the Prime Minister please step in, commission an urgent independent review?
I think the Prime Minister...
They're already, yeah, getting impatient. What's Hoyle stepping in with here? Let's...
Who's got the question?
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Speaker.
Jesus Christ, he took a long time to say that, didn't he?
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Get on with it!
His NHS Trust has identified their preferred site for the new Frimley Park Hospital, and detailed technical work can now start. And let's be frank about this hospital. The Tories promised 40 new hospitals with no funding and no delivery plan, and we've had to fix that.
Plan.
His hospital, thanks to Labour investment,
That's
is at the front of the queue. It will be one of the first in the country to be rebuilt. But his approach, Mr. Speaker, has been, on the one hand, to demand a new hospital and then oppose actually building it. He's urged his constituents to oppose it because, quote, this is his quote, if the hospital goes ahead, there will be no golf course. So, Labour building new hospitals, he's standing up for golf courses. I can't think of anything more Lib Dem.
Well, not sure if Keith knows this, but did you know that there is actually more land dedicated to golf courses than social housing in Britain at the moment? Where are these 1.5? He said by the end of his parliament, technically his parliament will be over very soon, and we'd have 1.5 million homes, I believe it was. Where are they? Where are they? We're getting spades in the effing ground, people.
Rachel Hopkins.
I really detest. It's an embarrassment. It's when they get like that in the Houses of Parliament. Just braying like asses, really. And we act as though we're the most sophisticated country in the world.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
safe and secure home is the foundation of everything, and access to a council home at social rent continues to be the biggest issue that my Luton South and South Bedfordshire constituents get in touch with me about. But under this Labour government, in 24-25, councils delivered the highest annual number of social and affordable homes since 1991-92. So does the Prime Minister agree with me that we must build on this achievement and accelerate progress on council house building to ensure we deliver the biggest council housing programme since the post-war era?
Oh, sod off. Well, how's about that? There are... Burnham isn't even at the dispatch box, and they're already asking questions about his policy to Keir Starmer. What, as though it was Starmer's idea? I don't know if she knows, but it was part of Andy's big thing along with the devolution in the speech on Monday. It happened here in Manchester. We did a deep dive review on yesterday's stream, and now she goes trying to accredit herself and Starmer with that idea. I don't think Burnham will come through on that promise any more than Keith's come through on his 1.5 million houses either. But now it appears that Starmer is so low that even on the way out, he's going to try and gloat about something that wasn't even his idea.
Fuck off. Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm proud that this government is delivering the biggest boost to social and affordable housing in a generation. Backed by £39 billion, it means we're unleashing the biggest surge in council house building in over...
Fucking Reid, so he's taken over the nodding duties from West Streeting. Steve Reid.
30 years, and that includes 1,000 new sociable and affordable homes in Luton and Bedfordshire. And our social housing bill will reform Right to Buy to deliver even more social houses. A Labour government delivering the homes that we need.
Well, if Postman Swat was contending this week, he'd be off and away. Even at this early stage, I think that's at least 4 or 5 mentions so far. Still 2-0 to plan, and still no mention of the hidden feature word.
Leader of the Opposition, can we be?
Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And can I associate myself and this side of the House with the Prime Minister's comments about Venezuela and also about the Lib Dems? Mr. Speaker. But seriously, Mr. Speaker, the Chief of Defence Staff made it known that the armed forces needed a minimum of £28 billion more to defend the country.
No, they don't.
Can the Prime Minister tell us why he thinks half that amount is enough?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very proud that this Labour government...
I can tell you why. It's because, despite the hyperbolic fear-mongering that's come into the mainstream media this week, members of Labour describing jackboots, shooting your children, so on and so forth. There was another interview when someone was implying that the red horde is going to come and plunder your land and rape your women and all this other ludicrous shit. They were actually genuinely implying that sort of thing. What you've got is a state that's been bogged in the mire, fighting its nearest neighbour for half a decade already. And the implication that Russia will sweep through every NATO country that there is, get across the English Channel, is very far-fetched, where I'm concerned.
Has delivered 2 major funding increases in just 2 years in government. The first, which was funded by overseas aid, took us to £270 billion over the spending review period. Mr. Speaker, that is a record. The Defence Investment Plan gives us capability we need for the future. That sets a new record, Mr. Speaker, of £300 billion.
Oh, there was a plan there. There was a plan in there. Yep. Got it.
over the next 4 years. That will be invested in drones and autonomous weapons, the largest ever investment, strengthen the UK's nuclear capability, upgrading our naval bases in the most significant way for 45 years, and confirming our commitment to the next generation of fighter jets. That is what is needed to keep our country safe.
Mr. Speaker, he didn't say that it was enough, and that was a very long...
So I will ask him again. And then blah, blah, blah. He gets up, says the same thing. She gets, so I will ask him again. She'll do that 3 or 4 times, and then she'll turn around and go, and another thing, what about the Chagos Islands, eh? He could script it pretty much. Mobius, awesome to see you in chat. Mobius is a fellow YouTuber. If we have any horticultural viewers out there, highly recommended for anybody who likes some excellent gardening. We've got RMI in the chat as well. Sure what that's referring to. But Mo, great to see you.
List of things that he's not yet paying for. It is not right and it is not fair, certainly not to our troops who put their lives on the line for all of us every single day. 3 weeks ago, Mr. Speaker, 3 weeks ago, the Defence Secretary resigned, saying, I am being forced to make decisions.
Hold it right there, people.
Hidden feature unlocked. Hidden feature unlocked. Please try to remain calm during this extraordinary event.
Yeah, I had to refrain earlier. I almost set off the alert, but it was Keith that said it, so I can now reveal that the hidden feature word or phrase is defence. And as you can see there, that tank looks very defensive. So it's going to be defence as the hidden feature. This doesn't affect the league. For anybody who doesn't know, the hidden feature word doesn't contend in the league. It just changes every week to try and spice things up a bit in case it gets stagnant like it did over the last couple of weeks, if I'm being perfectly honest. Let's bring up the count. Bing! And off we go. Carry on, Kemi.
That would increase the risk to personnel on operations and could make the country less safe. Since that letter, the Prime Minister has only increased spending by 0.01%. We can count, the generals can count, the Kremlin can count. His plan doesn't add up. How can the Prime...
What surprise? Oh, fucking surprise, surprise. We couldn't take on fucking Russia in a one-on-one straight fight. Oh, we're so fucking shocked. What does he want to go to 3.5% and then maybe on towards 5% of GDP? That was his initial ambition. He's kicked that can down the road. Like I said yesterday, that's landed in Burnham's lap. We'll see if he can keep it up.
Minister possibly stand there and say that this is enough?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this is the most significant upgrade in defence spending since the 1980s. The Chief of the Defence Staff has been clear that the plan...
So it's Cold War 2, is it? Or is this just the warm-up to World War 3? Make your bloody minds up. You'd literally sitting there and say we need this money for World War pissing 3. Because I don't know if Keith knows it, but Russia, again, sweeping through Europe from the east all the way through Central Europe, Germany, into France, Spain, Portugal, and the Basque region, lest I forget. And then crossing the channel over here. It wouldn't go unnoticed, would it? Yeah, that is what you would call World War 3. And you just sit, oh yeah, might need an extra 10 billion or so to stop World War 3. You've got to be honest. If it is going to be World War 3, it is going to cost a lot more than that. The fact that these sums are so, well, you can't turn your nose up at tens of billions of pounds, but as a fraction of GDP, they're not as much as other countries spend by quite a significant margin. Obviously, the United States of America stands out as one of those. Aaron, good point in the chat, yeah. We are going to need more money for the climate emergency that is upon us already. No, we're not hypothetically talking about some European dictator having plans for global domination by 2030. We're talking about something that's happening in the here and now, with a record-breaking temperature not once but twice in July. It was also revealed today that the average June temperature was not just broken but smashed by a whole 3 degrees fucking Celsius, Keith. That's the priority. Because let's be honest, if it was World War III, 10 or 15 billion that you're arguing over here wouldn't go particularly far. And I'm just saying that from an economic standpoint, not because I'm a bloodthirsty warmonger like this fucking lot.
Accelerates the transformation we need for our armed forces. The First Sea Lord, it funds the capability we need to fight and win. The Chief Air Staff strengthens our contribution to NATO, and she must have missed that yesterday the Secretary-General of NATO welcomed the plan. All people who know what's in the plan and welcome it. Contrast that, Mr. Speaker, with their record in government, because they hollowed out the armed forces. Their record is cutting defence spending. My record is raising it to £300 billion and rising. Their record is cutting frigates by a quarter, cutting mine hunters by a half, and leaving 47 of 49 defence programmes delayed or over budget. My record is the biggest boost to defence investment since the 1980s. Their record is missing army recruitment targets every year for 14 years.
Didn't I tell you we'd get exactly the same answer?
We've given our armed force the biggest pay rise for 20 years and increased defence funding by £15 billion a year. That
Was there a plan there? Okay, I'll skip back, 30 seconds-ish.
Programmes delayed or over budget. My record is the biggest boost to defence investment since the 1980s. Their record is missing in defence spending since the 1980s. The chief of the
Fucking hell. It's so repetitive. I swear to God, I moved the video into 3 different places there, and he was saying exactly the same fucking sentence every time. That's the 1980s. God, change the bastard record, you brill cream. Fuck.
Defence staff has been clear that the plan accelerates the transformation we need for our armed forces. The First Sea Lord.
The plan accelerates. Yep, there was one in there. Well spotted.
It funds the capability we need to fight and win. The Chief Air Staff strengthens our contribution to NATO, and she must have missed that yesterday the Secretary-General of NATO welcomed the plan. All people who know what's in the plan and welcome it. Contrast that, Mr. Speaker, with their record in government, because they hollowed out the armed forces. Their record is cutting defence spending. My record is raising it to £300 billion and rising. Their record is cutting frigates by a quarter, cutting mine hunters by a half, and leaving 47 of 49 defence programmes delayed or over budget. My record is the biggest boost to defence investment since the 1980s. Their record is missing army recruitment targets every year for 14 years. We've given our armed force the biggest pay rise for 20 years and increased defence funding by £15 billion a year. That's a record I'm proud to stand on.
I run down every high street in Britain and shout it in the face of the homeless. Yeah, we'll get it printed at the top of everybody's fucking utility bills when the quarterlies land on the doorsteps or in your email inboxes, whatever. Something to be proud of. And then, what do you want us to do? All stand up and sing fucking Jerusalem. 234 Cheech, nice to see you in the chat as well, and Heddy joining us as well. Nice to see you, brothers. Solidarity to you both.
Mr. Speaker, the Chief of Defence Staff is an honourable man, and what he and the NATO Secretary-General have done is welcome the fact that a plan has been published. Just that it's been published. They've been waiting for over a year. Strategic Defence Review was last year.
Another defence in there.
He is an honourable man, Mr. Speaker, who is having to
Two
make
for
do
defence.
with very little. The threat level has dramatically changed in the 2 years that the Prime Minister has been in office. Poland, since the Prime Minister took office, Poland has increased their funding to 4.8%. Germany has increased theirs to 3.7%. This year, Russia will spend 10% of GDP.
It sounds like a fucking DFS advert or something, doesn't it? Sale ends this Monday. 60% off sofas and couches. This three-piece dining set's 45%. Fucking hell.
On defence. Meanwhile, Britain is spending it all on welfare. Even the limited plan that he has announced
Over half of that's on pensions, Kemi.
has completely unravelled because he hasn't found the money to pay for it. It is £5 billion short. We all know that he is leaving this mess to his successor. So can he confirm that the member for Makerfield has...
Yeah, Aaron, 10% off your freedom of choice. All non-violent direct action groups must go.
has agreed to fund the shortfall?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, what they did was to cut defence spending. When they came into power, defence spending was 2...
And you inherited it? Come on, give him a chance. He's bottom of the league. Don't be tight. Yeah, well, we're talking about him being tight, and he won't even give inheritance a chance.
0.5%. What did they do? They cut it to 2.3%, a cut. And on welfare, what did they do? They put it up by £88 billion. So we'll take no lectures from them about either welfare or defence. This is £15 billion of new investment for defence, delivered outside of a budget, outside of a spending review.
Oh, dude, God, this game's wrecking my head this week. There's so many delivers in there as well. Nearly missed a plan or two. And defence might be eating up as well.
Mr. Speaker, that's about £1 billion a year over 4 years. Because of the decisions at the last budget, we've got headroom of £22 billion. That is precisely so we can take decisions like this. We delivered it outside a budget, outside a spending review.
Again.
Just like we did with the special educational needs, outside a budget, outside a spending review.
I really detest the word.
Just like the previous government did, Mr. Speaker, when they announced their 5-year NHS plan in 2018, outside a budget, outside a spending review. And what did they say when they were challenged about it, Mr. Speaker? I'll quote, "We will be able to explain exactly where every penny is coming from, but we will do that in the budget." That was the former Health Secretary, then the Chancellor. When they published their Integrated Defence Review in 2020, what did they do? They set out the funding at the next spending review.
Don't forget, people, it's anybody apart from Keith that has to say defence for its accounts.
So let's drop the faux outrage, focus on what matters, the biggest sustained increase for 40 years, the biggest increase for 45 years, providing what is needed to keep the country safe.
Mr. Speaker, he says that he's...
Ask him again, Kemi. Go on. You've already had the answer at least 2 times. Give him an opportunity to try and remind you that it's the biggest increase since the 1980s.
delivering this outside the budget. That's right, it should have been in the last budget. The Strategic Defence Review was published last year. It should have been in the last budget, not the next budget. The intelligence assessment that he himself has said we have says there could be an attack on NATO by 2030. But this plan doesn't deliver until after that. £5 billion is missing from his plan. It also relies on £11 billion of unidentified savings. The plan has unravelled. It is a total dereliction of duty, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. The Times newspaper said today the Prime Minister's legacy... well, why don't we wait and see what they said?
The Times. OK.
The Prime Minister's legacy is betrayal, failure and vulnerability, and that's one of the nicer headlines. So I will ask again, because he didn't answer the question, Mr. Speaker, did the member for Makerfield know that he was going to have to find £5 billion for the Prime Minister's plan?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, when I became Prime Minister 2 years ago, this country spent £54 billion a year on defence. Because of the decisions we've taken, that will rise to £80 billion a year by 2029. That is a real terms increase of 27%, transforming our armed forces. And we're not going to take any lectures from the party opposite. They cut defence spending. They hollowed out the armed forces. That's what their Defence Secretary admitted that's what they did. They don't like it. They won't defend their record, Mr. Speaker, because they can't. They won't apologise for it, because they have to admit what we all know is a total failure. They just try to pretend the 14 years they were in power never really happened. We're in power, we're recording investment in defence and security. I'm proud of this Labour government, and any Labour Prime Minister would stand behind this plan.
It doesn't sound like he's told the member for Makerfield to find £5 billion.
That's 6.
He says any Labour Prime Minister would stand behind this plan. Let me tell him what Lord Richard Dannett, the former head of the Army, said yesterday. He said the Prime Minister had chosen the cheap option and called the plan woefully inadequate. Let me tell him what General Sir Richard Barrons, one of the authors of his own Strategic Defence Review, said yesterday. We are simply not going to be ready to defend this country properly.
Ooh, I'll allow that one. That's 3. Excuse me. That's 3 for defence now.
That's what they're saying. The reason that he is in this mess is because he was too weak to cut welfare when he had the chance. There are only 3 ways, Mr. Speaker, to find the missing £5 billion. Increase borrowing, increase taxes, or
on
cut
the rich.
Welfare. Which one will he recommend to the member for Makerfield?
Taxes, of course, for the super wealthy. It's the only obvious solution. Oh, but they're your friends and donors, aren't they? Of course, most of the 600 of you in there.
We're talking about £1 billion a year over 4 years.
You said that
the
earlier.
The last budget gave us more than £22 billion in headroom, so we can take the decisions that they don't understand this because they crashed the old. We built a headroom of £22 billion.
Oh, has headroom now replaced black hole?
The very reason for the headroom is to have the credibility to take decisions outside the budget.
Reeves is nodding along there. Is that what they're trying to do? Replace the word black hole with headroom? Because headroom would imply that you were 22 million under budget, not left with the 22 billion black hole. That's a 44% swing. Which is it? Because it can't be both at the same time. Schrodinger's 22 billion. Was it either a shortfall or a surplus?
And outside the spending review. They don't understand it because they lost control of the public finances. In addition to more on defence and security, we've taken control of the public finances. That's why you have headroom to take credible decisions like this. £1 billion a year over 4 years.
Okay. We'll leave it there.
Headroom of 22.
That is the 22 billion thing.
Billion because of the decisions we took at the last big
I'm not going to wreck my brains trying to work that one out. Because there's probably no sense in it whatsoever.
We understand it perfectly. And that's why, yes we do, that's why he is leaving and so is his Chancellor. They're laughing and pretending, but if he was doing such a fabulous job, why did he resign? Mr. Speaker, defence of the realm is the first duty of government.
Yes. It's come up a few times now. Defence of the realm. That's 4, by the way. Just as I change that. Yeah, we don't live in Westeros. The realm. The Andals and the First Men. And the Raynar. Fucking hell. The realm.
It is
the Empire, what that we don't have anymore.
The first duty of government. I don't need to read again what General Sir Richard Barrons or Lord Richard Dannett said. Maybe they didn't hear it the first time. They can re-watch the clips. But defence of the realm, Mr. Speaker, is the first duty of government. Britain is facing A moment of danger,
counting
unlike
that as another.
anything in our lifetimes, unlike anything that we saw.
That's 5 for the hidden feature word.
We need a plan to fund our armed forces that meets this moment. They are the government for now, not for 10 years ago. And the fact is, Labour's plan is too weak, it is too little, and it is too late. If his successor doesn't want to be complicit in this failure, he should come out and condemn this plan. The money must be found, Mr. Speaker, and that money should come from cutting welfare, something these Labour MPs will not do. And if the Labour Party cannot defend our country, Mr.
Okay then, every pensioner who voted Tory will get a tax increase. There you go. Problem solved, Kemi. Glad that we could find a compromise and a solution to what seemed to be an almost certain impasse.
Speaker, what is the point of them?
It's just all talk. What did they actually do? They cut defence 2.5% down to 2.3% in their 14 long years. And what did on welfare? They put the bill up by £88 billion. So no lectures from them. They failed in the first duty of government. And they won't defend their record, will they? They won't stand here and defend it because they know that never do they stand here and defend their record because they can't. 14 years of failure. They don't get up and apologise, which is what they should do, because they would admit what we all know how much they failed. So they just sit there pretending it didn't happen. Well, it did happen. You hollowed out the armed forces. We're correcting you.
I'm not defending the Tories by any stretch of the imagination, but that is very rich coming from an outgoing Prime Minister. If you had things to gloat about, then you wouldn't be on your way out of office. You can talk that shit on your way out the door, mofo.
Tell you what else, when we came into power, public services were on their knees. Today, we've seen the fastest fall in NHS waiting list for 17 years. When I became Prime Minister, we inherited a broken economy. Today, we're outperforming the other G7 economies. When I became Prime Minister, our international alliances have been shredded. Now other countries are looking to us to lead on defence and security, foundations of a stronger and fairer country. Britain in a better state than we found it. That's the difference a Labour government makes.
Yeah, the removal men are on the way, Keith.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Two of my constituents, Cody and Liam Townend, and another mum from Leeds, Zoe Ward, all lost babies in different tragic circumstances. But they all went to the same funeral director who did not treat their babies' bodies with the dignity, care or respect that they deserved. I will not repeat the shocking details here. The BBC, for their part, published what they could last year.
Well, I was wondering if it was that case. Was that last year? But yeah, that was shocking. This undertaker essentially making up that caskets contained babies' ashes when they didn't. They actually found a load of corpses. I can't remember the range of ages or whatnot, but people who passed away a long time ago and the funerals had already been held, and lo and behold, the bodies were still there. I don't even want to begin to speculate what sort of sick shit somebody wants to do with a load of corpses, including children's corpses, but this really was very shocking to find out about.
But more shockingly still, the police found nothing actionable in either case.
I actually timed that quite well there. I assure you I've not seen this before.
Because there is no regulation of the funeral industry, and the individual in question is still operating in Leeds today.
Sorry about the dry throat. I do need to top my drink up, which I will do in a moment.
Given that the Department of Health and Social Care are due to make a decision about changing the law in this area, possibly before he leaves office, will the Prime Minister speak with ministers and officials in that department to ensure that when they consider the question of whether to regulate the funeral industry, their answer is yes?
Can I thank him for raising this case and thank him? He's been a committed campaigner on this. I have seen the details of the particular case. He's right not to repeat them in this chamber. They are horrifying. The lack of dignity and compassion is unacceptable, and I simply can't imagine the pain that Cody, Liam and Zoe experienced and are still experiencing. The status quo here is not working for families, and people deserve to know that their loved ones are treated with dignity and compassion. We are going to consider this closely, and I thank him for raising it. I do want stronger standards and oversight. I think that's absolutely needed, particularly in light of appalling cases like this.
It's literally like something that happens in a horror film, you know. Some people walk into a room, they open a door, and there they are. It is literally the stuff of horror and nightmare. Absolutely grotesque. Yeah, I do hope that they throw the book at him.
Sir Ed David, leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I not associate myself with the Prime Minister's comments about my party? But can I associate myself with all his remarks about the earthquake and humanitarian catastrophe in Venezuela? And can I commend the Scottish team and the Scottish fans on the joy they brought to the World Cup? They did the whole of Scotland proud. And can I wish England well against DR Congo later today? But with Rhys James and Gerald Quansah in doubt, I know the Prime Minister isn't the only one struggling for a solid defence plan. Mr. Speaker, the wars...
Shouted red card then. Fucking hell.
In Ukraine and Iran show us how seriously we must take the threat of missiles and drones hitting our country. Our national security requires the best...
Well, at least Ed here's being more realistic. Yes, the prospect of boots on the street is somewhat fantastical, as I mentioned a few times earlier on. But the realistic threat is, of course, aerial attacks, drone warfare being the preferred method in the 21st century. We are, in fact, perhaps entering a new frontier of aerial warfare permanently where this is concerned. When you look at what's happened over the last couple of decades, there's really no denying that. And as we said yesterday, they are a lot cheaper and can take out some pretty expensive tech. So that's going to be the real threat.
Possible missile defence system, including Royal Navy...
That's if Russia wants to start World War III, which I still think is a very, very strong claim to make.
Destroyers. But the funding in his plan for this falls dangerously short. Yet the Prime Minister has rejected our proposals for defence bonds, which were used in the past to rearm our country. So can the Prime Minister tell us why has he chosen to leave our country so vulnerable to missile attack?
Prime Minister.
Can I first join him on his comments about the Scotland team and Scotland fans and wish England well? I'm not sure about his gag. He was getting a bit better the other week, but he's gone back down. I'm afraid that one is a red card. Mr. Speaker, our defence investment plan gives our country what we need to fight now and into the future, the capability that's been assessed through the strategic review. Bonds, which we looked at very closely, are simply borrowing by another name, and we are already borrowing in a way which requires us to...
It's pretty much in the name itself, the bond, the promise that you can get the money back. Maybe more than you put in the first place, which is why it counts as an investment. Yeah. Genius analysis of what a war bond would be, or what any kind of bond is, premium bonds, whatever.
Spend £1 in every 10.
Was there a plan there from Keith? Let's get back. You were right earlier. Did miss one earlier. Just a sec.
Prime Minister.
Can I first join him on his comments about the Scotland team and the Scotland fans and wish England well? I'm not sure about his gag. He was getting a bit better the other week, but he's gone back down. I'm afraid that one is a red card. But, Mr. Speaker, our defence investment plan gives our country what we need to fight now and into the future. The capability has been assessed through the strategic review. Bonds, which we looked at very closely, are simply borrowing by another name, and we are already borrowing in a way which requires us to spend £1 in every 10.
They are. Daniel Craig, Roger Moore, Sean Connery, Timothy Johnson.
On servicing the interest.
I don't think I've seen that one. Who was that? Who was in that one? Bond borrowing by another name doesn't sound particularly enthralling, or like it might pertain to espionage. Bit lazy on the title with that one. Must have flown over my head.
On that. And I would gently point out, before he carries on with any criticism of our plan, that he sat in a cabinet that cut defence spending by 22%.
The Prime Minister knows that our defence bonds are within his own fiscal rules,
Defence.
that he's had advice from his own team that he should adopt them, and I hope the Right Honourable Member for Makerfield will listen. But, Mr. Speaker,
might overtake
I have
plan
another
at this
concern
rate.
I think the Prime Minister will share. The rising tide of racist violence and hate that we're seeing in our country, and the way it is being incited and normalised, including, I'm afraid, by some members of this House. I was talking to a British friend of Indian ancestry who told me how reform activists came to her door and said that if they get into power, she and her family will have their passports seized and their citizenship revoked.
He's referring to Rupert Lowe of restoring this mass deportation of immigrants, that he is very open about openly declaring his fascism on social media. Millions will go, I think, is the slogan that he's been throwing around lately. Believe you me, people, he really is a shit.
Does the Prime Minister agree that racism has no place in our country? And will he join me in condemning anyone who is stoking it?
Damn right! Can I thank him for raising this? It is really important because our politics is becoming more diverse and racism and intolerance is permeating everywhere. And we have to deal with it. Because it's tearing our societies apart. It is keeping good people away from politics because they don't want to be involved in it. And it should be called out by every single person who's a politician at any level in this country. Mr. Speaker, I say this looking at the plaque to Joe Cox, and of course we've got David Amos behind me too. We had a Joe Cox 10-year reminder.
There should be a Robin Cook one up there as well.
It was 10 years ago, just a week or so ago, that we lost Jo, and I had a reception in Downing Street with her parents and other close friends and relatives of hers. We read out the words of Jo again. The very sad thing is, I was not able to say that in the 10 years since Jo's death, things have got better, because sadly, they've got worse. That's on us to fix, all of us to fix, every single member of this House, whatever their party in, and anybody who flames.
All I'll say, people, is that it's been implied that Joe Cox was in possession of information pertaining to the famous Jill Dando murder case, the newsreader who was killed outside her home in the 1990s, early 2000s, was that? That is all I'll say, except it's also been suggested that the person who's in prison for it might have been set up. But that would be a very lengthy conversation for another time.
It should be absolutely ashamed of themselves.
Mr. Speaker, can I associate myself with the comments of the Prime Minister about the legacy of Joe Cox? I know all of us in this place have been following the contest for number 10 quite closely in recent weeks. But amid the North versus South debate, I think it's about time we had someone from the Midlands who was ready to step into this important position for our country. So I'm delighted to say we have two fantastic Black Country lads, Jude Bellingham from Stourbridge and Morgan.
What's it? Come on, it's there. It's right in there. It's in there with what's he fucking called? Russell Brand's Bible passages that helped him out in court, and Julia Hartley-Brewer's evidence. Come on, what's the name?
Morgan Rogers.
Morgan Rogers, there you go.
Who have both been doing us proud in the contested England number 10 role against our game for Congo this evening. So does the Prime Minister agree with me that we should congratulate England on their progress out of the group stage so far? And does he also agree with me that we need to do more to support
Prime Minister? Well, I thought the next few weeks were about to get quite interesting, Mr. Speaker, but can I... Look, we do all wish England the best of luck this evening, and every time those players...
Did he ask a question there, or was it just, do you want to say more about the England football team? I didn't get any sort of constituency question in there, or anything regarding national policy whatsoever. Just, don't we really want England to win the World Cup?
Step on the pitch. They represent the talent, ambition and diversity of this country.
I think it was.
We're proud to be supporting the
pretty
next
much the
generation,
question.
investing £400 million into grassroots facilities and over £1 billion in school sports. And if Thomas Tuchel needs any advice on penalties, he should ask David Seaman, who slotted one past him just a few weeks ago.
Dave,
hilarious.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am gravely concerned. I am gravely concerned that time after time...
You're not Stephen Flynn. This better be good.
This Prime Minister, in response to the abject and honest criticism of his defence investment plan, he cites recent trends in defence spending when he should be calibrating it against the chronic and very real threat that the people on these islands face. In his limited time left in number 10, will he get a grip of his paper-thin plan?
And another, that's 9.
This is,
wow, what
this
a
is
run.
the party
that
thinks
was plan.
we should give up the nuclear deterrence.
Two
and he
defence.
stands there to talk about defence.
Yeah,
so we need
right.
no more advice and sanctimonious nonsense from the NSP. Before he or any of them give any more advice to me or this House, let's have some home truths. Their chief executive has just been jailed for 5 years for embezzlement. They're all pretending they didn't know anything about it. They couldn't even see the motorhome parked in the driveway, apparently. And now they're blocking inquiry into the Scottish Parliament. Before they offer any more advice, they should look in the mirror.
There's another question, Dave.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Did you hear that? There's another question then. Yeah. SNP only get one, don't they?
Prime Minister.
Just because of the end of the answer.
Mirror.
There's another question, Dave.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In this increasingly dangerous world, the space domain is critical. So I welcome the £3.2 billion set out for space in the Defence Investment Plan. The plan refers to Skynet 6A, the
defence
first military satellite to be designed, manufactured and tested completely in the UK, beginning at Airbus in my constituency of Stevenage and supporting 3,000 jobs across the country. So, does the Prime Minister agree that we must develop both the UK's sovereign capability in space and the British jobs that already power it?
Space tanks.
Can I thank him? And our commitment to space in the Defence Investment Plan reflects how we're preparing our armed forces for the conflicts of the future. And when I see apprentices working in our defence industries, I see this investment creating the more opportunities, including those in many of our constituencies, including his. It underlines exactly what our investment delivers, Mr Speaker. That's 60,000 new jobs, investing in British skills, promoting our brilliant industries abroad and driving growth in the UK.
Taylor.
Mr Speaker, on Monday with colleagues I wrote to the Health Minister following the news that women's health and maternity services may be relocated away from St Helier Hospital due to building safety concerns. Yesterday we heard Baroness Amos's review state that poorly maintained buildings affect how safe people feel, how effectively staff can work, whether care can be delivered in a way that is private, respectful and reliable. It has been reported today that DHSC's capital budget will be cut by more than £500 million over this Parliament to fund the DIP, which puts the new hospital programme timeline in doubt. So, will the Prime Minister arrange for the Health Secretary to visit St Helier Hospital with me to see its condition and hopefully agree to bring forward the build of the new Sutton Sech, build it today, not in 2034, to ensure safe and modern healthcare and maternity facilities for my constituents?
Prime Minister.
Well, in relation to his hospital, he knows that those decisions are taken at a local level based on expert advice. We are committed to prioritising women's health as we reform the NHS, including through our women's health strategy.
We'll throw it onto the pile of top priorities in that case, Keith. Probably got at least 20 odd of them so far.
In his area alone, we're investing £57 million to transform care. That's money that we provided at the budget. He actually voted against it, along with the rest of the Lib Dems at the budget. So they can't, on the one hand, complain about the lack of investment. Then we put the money forward, they vote against it. That, again, is very Lib Dem.
Michelle Welsh.
Thank you, Mr.
You're very Lib Dem. You're all the same. The tri-party.
Speaker. Mr Speaker, the Donna Ockenden review and the Baroness Amos review has exposed some very uncomfortable truths. That justice is not brought about by a system, a law, a protocol, a regulatory authority or NHS England, but by bereaved and harmed families, having to speak up over and over again about the most horrific and traumatic experience of their lives just to be heard. So does the Prime Minister agree with me that the system is not only failing, but it is cruel? And if we are to restore public trust, then we must finally introduce Hillsborough law in full, so that families can get the justice and accountability they need and deserve.
That was 40 years ago. Come on. Can't call that justice.
Can I thank her for raising this? Baroness Amos's findings show a deeply disturbing picture, deep fragmentation and an overly complex system. Women and families not being listened to, no proper accountability, and discrimination is driving inequalities in treatment and outcome. We will deliver the change that is needed. We will look at the urgent recommendations and deliver those of Baroness Amos as well as those of Donna Ockenden. And can I thank her for leading from the front as the first maternity advisor, working with families and the NHS to deliver safer, better care for every mother and baby. And can I say that I know her son Billy would be very proud of her.
Sir Desmond Swain.
Again.
Mr Speaker.
It was up last week. Okay. Brace yourselves, people, for Desmond Swain. Let's see what his constituents pay him for this week. Last time around it was a very obscure reference. Davinia, I think it was you that looked into it and revealed it was something about a book, was it? Jack, I can't remember the name of the protagonist, but he ran away from his nurse and was eaten by was it a shark or a crocodile? Yeah, so what is it going to be this time? Jesus Christ. It's as mad as a bag of frogs.
Through omission or insufficient advice, injured veterans may fail to place their compensation in a trust within the 1 year allowed by universal credit.
That was a coherent sentence. That's pretty good for Desmond. Carry on.
can discretion be had in compassionate cases?
Prime Minister.
I thank the right honourable gentleman.
Well,
I'm enjoying our weekly exchange.
Maybe he only had the 17 whiskies before they started the session this week. That was, a perfectly coherent point and question regarding armed forces pensions, or compensation for injury, that is.
Every veteran who served in our country, and I thank him for raising this because it is a really important point, should be looked after and better able to access.
Was he in the Boer War? Yeah, maybe. I imagine if you go to his house, there's like a framed picture of him, and every generation it is just the same face with the same hair, sideburns on the side, the chops there, whatever. Maybe varying lengths depending on the century. And he's the latest incarnation.
Any compensation they're entitled to. We have dedicated pathways for veterans in every job centre to provide support with benefit claims and complex cases. But I can assure him and reassure him that anyone coming forward will get tailored support, and we'll seek to resolve any issues swiftly and fairly to see whether we can improve on that. If he's got any specific cases, or other members have, if he could pass, or others pass the details to us.
What's happened? Perhaps his constituents turned round to him and went, "What in the bloody hell was that you stood up and said last week?" So they've given him another turn and possibly shut the bar a bit early, as has been suggested in the chat by Doc. Quite possibly.
We will look at them.
I served in India, how dare you? I served in India, my dear man. Retract your statement. I demand satisfaction, sir.
I noticed the BBC reported his question last week, him saying it would almost certainly be his last to me as Prime Minister. A reminder, you shouldn't always believe everything you read in the news. I look forward...
Says the guy who does shitty op-eds and does interviews with the fucking Sun.
We'll see him at the same place, same time next week.
Catherine West.
Mr. Speaker, could I thank the Prime Minister for his calm and authoritative leadership in international affairs, and could I also thank the UK missions abroad who have enormous respect for him, and could I also ask him to put on record his thanks to the security...
God, Hoyle, can you get them to shush? Just do your job once.
...diplomatic and international aid workforce who work day and night on behalf of the UK abroad. And closer to home, Mr. Speaker, could I also, as a fellow North Londoner, say, despite the heat waves, North London forever, regardless of the weather.
Prime Minister.
Well, I thank... She's someone who always speaks her mind.
And you don't like that, do you, Keith?
I join her in thanking our people. I'm proud that during my tenure we've delivered 5 major trade deals. We've led the coalition of the willing to support Ukraine and strengthened the NATO alliance, built stronger partnerships.
We've made it pretty clear on the channel that we don't think that Andy Burnham's going to be the saviour by any stretch of the imagination. But I am somewhat looking forward to the relief of what I'm hoping will be the less frequent use of the word deliver.
With the EU and kept us out of the war in Iran. And can I thank her for her contribution that she made?
Have we had the raids? I'll carry on nonetheless.
But
we do. No Justice and Kevin Logan raiders. A very warm welcome to you all. We're just getting towards the end of PMQs at the moment, playing Keith's catchphrases, keeping a tally of how many times the word plan is mentioned, or inheritance. It's 8-0 to plan at the moment. There's a little side game with the hidden word or phrase which has been revealed. Defence, which has had 9 mentions. It's all part of Keith's catchphrases. I've not got the time to explain the full rules. You'll get it. It's very simple as we just try and get through the drone of PMQs. A very warm welcome. Thanks again to No Justice and Kevin Logan. Of course, a lot of viewers of the channel are familiar with them already, but if not, go over and subscribe and check out some of the content. Excellent stuff, as always. Solidarity.
As Foreign Office...
Sorry, YouTube's asking me for once to mither you with advertising because we've just had a raid. No, thank you. No ads during live streams, apart from at the very beginning, just so you know.
Joshua Reynolds.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday the Prime Minister visited Maidenhead to announce his new defence investment plan. However, as we now know, he's leaving it to his successor to decide how to fund the majority of it. We cannot fund our armed forces without growth, and we cannot get growth in Britain.
And please hit thumbs up, Raiders, and hit subscribe on the channel. If you'd be so kind, that'd be awesome.
Without the red tape that British businesses are having be dismantled, as well as trading closer with our closest neighbours. So will the Prime Minister agree that a new growth and defence partnership with Europe is how we can properly fund our forces, and will he urge his successor?
And a defence there. Anybody apart from Keir Starmer can say the hidden feature word, so that's 10 now, double digits for defence.
To jot Labour's red lines to get it done.
It's all go this week.
Well, he obviously
inheritance.
didn't pay so much attention as he should to what I was saying yesterday in terms of the plan, the capability, the record investment that we're putting in and how we're funding it. I do agree we need to work more closely
And a plan
with the
from
EU
Keith,
on defence and
taking him up
security
to
as well
9.
as trade and the economy. That's precisely what we agreed at the EU-UK
Looks like it's going
summit
to be a
last
narrow
year,
win.
and we've been building on that. And I'm proud to say in the last 2 years, the relationship between the UK and the EU has been transformed into a much better, trusted relationship. It is very important, as Prime Minister, that I leave the country in better state than I found it, and I do.
Can't make any claims about Europe. We certainly haven't had the fiscal or economic benefits being on like friendly terms whilst you're on the telephone. Doesn't really count towards the fact that we're still out of the single market and the customs union, Keith.
Sarah Russell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Dr. Carly Mellor, an NHS dentist in my constituency, spoke to me recently, and I quote, "Ministers pledged to fix the failed contract we worked to within this Parliament. The government has begun discussions on a new contract and promised a public consultation on it this summer. A typical dentist delivering NHS care does so at a loss. With every passing month, more practices are reconsidering their future in the NHS, while millions of patients continue to struggle to access care. Reforming the contract is the route to better treatment for my constituents. Please can we start the consultation without delay?"
Prime Minister.
Can I thank her for raising this? I'm pleased that we've delivered over 1.8 million additional courses of NHS treatment, because no one needing urgent care should be left in pain and waiting for help. Mr. Speaker, we've already made early reforms, including embedding urgent care into the contract so people get fast access to NHS care, and delivering the first sustained expansion of dental school places in nearly 20 years to get extra dentists trained. We will consult on a reformed dental contract soon, and I'll make sure that ministers update my honourable friend.
Lee Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In Ashfield, 4 workers...
Says Keith, lying through his teeth. Ba-bum, ba-bum. What's 30p Lee got? Something, yeah, Neanderthal-esque, I'll guess.
Workers, including 2 nurses, were kicked out of their HMO, and Serco put 4 illegal migrants in this HMO. One of these illegal migrants was a
The nicking our houses is the latest line.
Pakistani national. He went on to rape a young girl, a vulnerable young girl, on a park in Ashfield. He's
Oh,
now
and that
doing
as well.
14 years in prison. This was a monster allowed into this country by this awful government. But if a Prime Minister is really serious about protecting young women and girls, does he agree with me and Reform UK that every single illegal migrant coming to this country should be detained, not allowed to claim asylum, and then deported?
Prime Minister.
Like they are at the moment, hence the illegal migrant moniker. Lee, can you not differentiate between that and an asylum seeker and a genuine migrant, for example? No, I don't think he can.
Speaker, I'm very proud of the fact that after net migration reached almost 1 million under the party...
And there's no way that someone can be kicked out of the house and replaced with an illegal migrant. What he's probably implying is that an asylum seeker whose claim is still being processed is counted as illegal. It's ridiculous.
We brought it down by 82%. On the asylum system, which he references, now asylum decisions are made at record levels, the backlog is down, removals are up 41%, and we're closing asylum hotels. They lost control of our borders. Now small boat crossings are coming down, and we deported 7...
There's very little that you can say that Keith has done, but migration has come down by 50%. So the more that Reform try and scaremonger, try and fearmonger, that credit just fades away. But then the louder they shout and the more ludicrous the claims get. Late stage panic amongst the likes of Reform is going to be something pretty shocking and hyperbolic.
20,000 people with no right to be here. He likes to ask questions. He should be asking some questions of the leader of his party sitting next to him. He received £5 million in crypto from a crypto billionaire and then privately lobbied the Bank of England on digital currencies. So did their leader carry out lobbying paid? Why did he keep his £5 million gift secret? And are they happy with their leader earning £20,000 an hour flogging gold bullion? They need to ask the questions across their benches, but they never do.
But they never do.
Speaker, too many people are waiting too long for NHS mental health care, with over 6,000 adults waiting up to 2 years. In Sunderland, grassroots organisations like the wonderful Betsy Jenny Cafe are providing support to our community, but they cannot substitute for timely NHS-funded care. So as the government consults on its new mental health strategy, will the Prime Minister agree with me that it must include clear waiting time standards?
Prime Minister. Well, I thank him, and we're determined to transform mental health so everyone gets the support they need. Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to say that we've recruited 8,700 extra mental health workers. We've opened the first of 6 24/7 neighbourhood mental health centres, and we're assured that nearly 800,000 more children, young people, have access to a mental health support team in their school or college. There is more to be done, but this is a real step forward.
Cole Lockhart.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last week in Northern Ireland, a former member of this House was convicted for the most horrific child sexual abuse against 2 girls. I want to commend the victims for their extraordinary bravery in coming forward. It was their courage secured a conviction, and I have no doubt that their resolve will help others find their voice. No matter an abuser's power or status, there can be no hiding place for someone who would take the safety or would steal the innocence of young children. Mr. Speaker, thousands of vulnerable young women in Rotherham, Oldham and across the UK were subjected to organised child sexual abuse and exploitation. In many cases, it was Pakistani heritage grooming gangs responsible, while institutions looked the other way. Before leaving office, the Prime Minister has the ability and opportunity to leave a legacy. Will he ensure that the promised statutory rape gang inquiry is delivered so the truth can finally be told?
As heinous as those crimes are, they're not the statistical majority, of course.
And that those responsible are held to account, and that no child's safety is ever sacrificed ever again for racial sensitivities.
Minister. Can I thank her for raising the case in Belfast that concluded last week, and, like her, salute the courage.
But you also have to acknowledge the balance of the dog whistling that will come from the likes of 30p Lee and the very people who are sat just a short distance away from where she's asking the question. That is something that you have to address. That is something that they in the far right lie about. It is the main part of the grift.
Of the victims to come forward. It must have taken extraordinary courage. It does in every single one of these cases, but particularly when you've got powerful people and institutions, it takes even more courage to do so. And so we salute them for their own acts, but also because it will, I hope, have helped others to see that if you do come forward, you will be believed and justice can be done, notwithstanding the difficulties. On grooming, we have set up the inquiry, and it's very important it goes wherever the evidence should take it, and that's an absolute guiding principle of the inquiry.
Final question, Alex Davis-Jones.
Mr. Speaker, this afternoon we are joined in the gallery by Lisa Phillips, a British survivor of Jeffrey Epstein's horrific and despicable trafficking and abuse. Lisa's
It's all getting very grim at the end, isn't it?
bravery is to be commended, and her determination for justice and accountability on behalf of all UK survivors should be put on record. And I want to place on record my thanks to you, Mr. Speaker, for meeting with Lisa this week. Your solidarity means more than you will ever know. So in that vein, will the Prime Minister please commit to meet with Lisa and the other British survivors and commit to what is needed, a full public inquiry, so we can have the truth, justice and accountability.
Prime Minister. Can I thank you for raising this really important issue and drawing it to the House's attention, and I'm glad that we're joined in the gallery today.
You've got a direct line to Donald Trump.
It is really important that we keep our focus on violence against women and girls.
You've got a direct line to Donald Trump.
And I'll make sure the meetings she requested are set up.
You've got a direct line to Donald Trump.
That completes Prime Minister's questions. Let the
That's it. Narrow 9-0 win for Plan. A lot more action than there was last week, and 10 mentions of defence. The hidden feature phrase. That was PMQs, and that was Keith's catchphrases. We'll be back next week for the latest in the House of Commons.
It's a quality item, ladies and gentlemen.
We now come to Prime Minister's questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Deliver. Black hole plan for change. 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 Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Beverly, thank you very much for the super chats. Did Andrew keep his Pizza Express loyalty card? I don't know if that was in the report or if it will come up in any future investigations, but that's a good question. Would it be specifically for the one in Woking, or can you use them in any of the franchise? All will be revealed. Thanks again, Beverly, for that super chat. Can we big up Bev in the chat, please, everybody? Show some appreciation there. Thanks again. Well, I guess I threw in most of my 2 cents as we went along with PMQs. Thanks a lot for your contributions in chat on that segment as well. We'll move swiftly on to the next item.
On with it. Yes, get on with it. Get on with it.
Of course, we have the mayoral elections coming up here in Manchester. We're quite excited here at My Left Eye as a Manchester-based channel. This is going to be a big one, not only because it's local, but also because the Greens do have a very realistic chance of gaining the mayoralty for the first time, going off the back of the local elections. Geraldine Coggins is the candidate this time around, so we're going to see what she's been up to and the rest of the campaigners with the latest edition of Hot Seats.
Did you vote Tory? No. No one ever votes Tory, did they?
Okay, let's see what's happening around town, because of course it is not just Manchester, it's the greater Manchester mayoralty, and that's what the focus has been on, the outer areas of Greater Manchester. As Mothin Ali, who's of course deputy leader of the Green Party, has been campaigning as well this week, is going to explain here in this little clip, and then we're going to take a look through an article, see how it's going, see what the initial feelers are out in the region. We're still without any sort of solid polling on the matter, but again, going off the back of the local elections, I do think that the Green Party genuinely have a solid chance. It wasn't just a fluke that they gained so many seats in the local election. They also, of course, took a parliamentary seat in the not too distant past with Gorton and Denton.
Just finishing up after a heavy day's campaigning. We started off in Bolton this morning, then in Oldham, and now we've come into Manchester itself. And this is all part of the Greater Manchester Mayoral campaign. It's such an important campaign right now because Geraldine Coggins is such a fantastic candidate, someone who really, really cares about her community, someone who's worked from the grassroots up. And that's what the Green Party is about, making changes for ordinary people, making changes for the lives of ordinary people. And that's what a Greater Manchester mayoral position can do. It can help tackle the cost of living, it can help fix the infrastructure problems. Right now, our members are the ones that drive us forward. We're not backed by billionaires, we're not backed by oil giants, we're not backed by tobacco companies. Unlike other parties, we don't get £5 million donations. What we do get is those fivers that you can donate, and that's the thing that drives us. Our people and our people power. The amount of members that have come out this morning, it's been so inspirational. Spending time with Geraldine, spending time with all the members, this is what fuels us. Let's get out there, let's all muck in. It's time for everyone to come in because we can really make a change, and Manchester's the birthplace of that change, of that green revolution. Let's do it.
Yeah, just a short one, but it is important that they do concentrate on those areas. Bolton and Oldham were mentioned in that little clip that you saw there. Unfortunately, Reform performed pretty well in those areas, in the locals, so it's good to see that they've basically taken the decision to initially start to challenge those seats, because they're the areas that they're going to have to win if Geraldine Coggins is going to get the overall victory. Where areas further central towards Manchester are concerned, they're already doing exceptionally well. But it will take more than just those areas to get them over the line. And so far, they seem to have been pretty well received. According to this article, we'll just have a quick look through here. So it is from the Green Party website, so just like it might be slightly biased in the reporting, but the headline reads, Bolton backs Geraldine Coggins for Greater Manchester Mayor. It says they gathered today at Runworth Park. This was a couple of days ago. We're now into July, of course. This is what Geraldine had to say. She spoke passionately about the value of migration, calling upon memories of her grandfather migrating from County Mayo in the 1930s to Bolton, and worked in a quarry. She says it's such an important part of the campaign. It's about migration and celebrating our diversity, all the different communities that we have here. There is a lot of diversity in Bolton as well, as of course there is in Manchester as well. She says, the people that built this city in the past, like my granddad, and all the different communities that we have here are an absolute gift. I think about the future and I think about our Pakistani community, our Somali community, our Eritrean community. We can't even imagine what enormous legacies and gifts we have from those communities. So sharing the diversity message quite strongly there. But according to her, she said they had a fantastic day in Bolton. So many exciting, energising campaigners. And also it mentions there they're getting vibes of Gorton and Denton. Because of course it won't take long for the areas that did, unfortunately, vote for Reform Council. I think in Bolton's case that one ended up as no overall control, as well as Oldham. Rochdale sort of comes into this. Essentially they almost go hand in hand, that is Rochdale and Oldham. As areas, it's very common that the way one votes the other does as well. Well, they are adjacent to each other as well. But then Bolton is sort of further west. So it sounds positive, excuse me, from the start. We'll keep up to speed as they get out to more areas. Quite looking forward to the first polls coming in, depending on who they're provided by. Of course, we always take them with a pinch of salt, like we did in Gorton and Denton, and we were quite right to do so. Beverly, thank you very much for joining us with a membership. Welcome aboard. Nice to see you joining the Brew crew. I'll just update the total there. 128 now. Can we please give Beverly a nice warm welcome, please, everybody. Solidari-Tea, thank you very much for your support. You'll have access to exclusive features. You'll get early viewings on some videos. There's a catalogue of exclusive content as well, if you want to check that out. I hope you enjoy. Please give us some feedback. So that's more or less it where the article's concerned. I do have a couple of other bits and pieces concerning the Green Party to bring you, but where the Manchester mayoral elections are concerned, that's pretty much it for this edition of Hot Seats.
Okay!
Right, the music's too loud. The neighbours have been complaining. You just watch your steps, sonny.
Right. Okay. 5 gifted memberships as well. Nice to see you spreading the solidarity there, Beverly. Hope you all enjoy your perks as well. That takes us up to 133. Awesome stuff there. Can we, again, please big up Beverly in the chat. Great support. 133. And as I said, I've got a couple of other things concerning the party. First up, a clip from Ellie Chowns, who of course was one of the leadership contenders. It does very well on shows like Question Time and so on and so forth. This time making a very good point about MPs taking on not just second jobs, but sometimes as many as 16 different positions. So just a short clip here, but very straight and to the point.
Serving as a Member of Parliament is a huge honour and a privilege. It is a full-time job. It's more than a full-time job, and it should be. There should be no time available in an MP's day for doing a second job, still less 16 second jobs, because the needs that our constituents have for us to serve them, to represent them, absolutely can fill every moment available, and more. It is utterly shocking to me that people like the member for Clacton, and yes, I have notified him in advance that I will be naming him in this debate, the member for Clacton has apparently raked in £2 million over his past 2 years of service.
Yeah, as a 2 million. And that's aside from, 5 million donations for security or whatever he might say it was for next week. Keeps changing his mind on it, doesn't he? Farage, of course, referring to. And you just apparently randomly give somebody £5 million and then they decide that they're going to run for office or MP.
Member of Parliament. Just yesterday, as we heard, £270,000 for 12 hours of work. It is frankly obscene. Let us call a spade a spade. If somebody is doing this sort of work, in inverted commas, for these sorts of sums, there can be only one motivation: personal enrichment, personal greed. And that has no place in a public servant, still less in a public servant who has the honour of serving as one of just 650 MPs in this House, the mother of all parliaments. And so we must stop it. I entirely agree with the honourable member. A full ban on second jobs.
Excellent. Excellent. It's a very impassioned statement there as well. 0 second jobs. Wake up and smell the rosemaries. Absolutely agree. Nice to see some familiar names amongst the raiders from No Justice and Kevin Logan as well. Comrie, I can see there. Jacqueline, nice to see you. Hope you're all brewing well tonight. And just finally, where the Green's concerned, another couple of things to find encouraging as we take a look into a couple of demographics here that not only show the continued rise of the Greens but the ongoing demise of Labour pretty much all across the board. Andy Burnham might provide a temporary, very temporary remedy to their polling woes, but as I've said many times, I have my strong reservations about his mid to long term efficacy. Whether he can get them over the line at the next general election, I guess, is the main obvious question at the moment. But these sort of stats won't help. First of all, the lesbian, gay and bisexual voters demographic. Very strong gains for the Greens, as you can see here. 23% gain, in fact taking them up to 40. Labour crashing by an almost equal amount. It's a pretty straightforward picture there, isn't it? Minus 24 for Labour, plus 23 for the Greens. You don't really have to get your abacuses and scientific calculators out to figure out what's going on here. Lib Dems are down slightly as well, but perhaps some of those went over to the Greens and or Reform, who have gained 4. Tories up slightly, and others 8%, so a very clear margin of victory, if you want to call it that, amongst that demographic. And this was a YouGov poll which took place over 20 days during June. Obviously, the Green Party having an openly gay leader might be a contributing factor to that as well. It can't be ignored. The other demographic where we see a similar picture but not quite the same result is amongst ethnic minorities, with Labour down again 20 points, 20 plus fall for them, 14-point gain for the Greens. The Tories and Lib Dems are up there as well. Reform as well are up 6. So all apart from Labour and other independent and grassroots candidates, whatnot, are on the up, which is quite surprising to see that. Where Reform's concerned, talk about turkeys voting for Christmas. That'd be even worse if you saw that for Restore as well, given what we heard there in PMQs as well, or even if you just look at what Rupert Lowe's actually said himself. But a surprising one, however, with the swings happening the way that they are, and still 2 years before the next scheduled general election, it does look as though we could see the Green Party at that rate with a 14-point gain, overtaking Labour. So still not in the lead, but reasons to be optimistic, I think.
If these trends continue, hey!
And you'll see that across a range of other demographics as well. We've explored age demographics recently. Labour just losing votes like a sieve. There's no other way to put it, to be quite frank. Well, you can be any other name that you like. Joking aside, because of course this is a serious channel all about politics and society from a left-wing point of view. I maybe should have mentioned that when we got the raid earlier, but you might have caught the gist. Nonetheless,
This is actually very serious.
something that is actually serious is the support that we get on the channel, and we do really appreciate that. Thanks again, Beverly, for the gifted memberships on all the other memberships that we've had on the stream, super chats as well. All your recent renewals as well are really important in helping us get towards that 250 target. Thank you once again. I will of course add the new members to this list as soon as possible. Don't forget to hit thumbs up on this stream, please, and other ways you can support the channel are with hype points. If you hit thumbs up on a mobile device and share some hype points, that'd be incredible. Conry, thank you very much for that, yes, of course, we will keep up the good work, not just here on YouTube, but out on the streets. Of course, this channel is brought to you by active practitioners of non-violent direct action in various organisations. We are getting towards the end of proceedings, people, but please do stay where you are. We will go raiding into another Comrades channel and also do some post-ending shenanigans as we always like to. Quite unique on a Wednesday now. So we'll see who's live. Well, we know that No Justice and Kevin Logan have already logged off. But we do have this space and the Leftist Mafia segment. That's this space over in the United States. If anybody's not familiar with them, do give them a thumbs up and subscribe once we raid in.
And I'm getting quite near the end now of this analysis.
So all that remains for me to say, people, is thank you very much for joining us on another Brews at 10 on My Left Eye. I've been your humble host, Lefty. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future streams throughout the rest of the week. Free Palestine, Lebanon, Sudan and Yemen. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Don't watch the news, be the news. And My Left Eye will be seeing you soon. Very good night.
Forgive me if I don't take too much notice of the Leader of the Opposition. For 14 years, they broke our welfare system, lost control of our borders, presided over the biggest fall in living standards on record, broke the economy, prisons, the NHS. I could go on and on. No wonder she and they are totally irrelevant. The change delivered by this Labour government, the biggest upgrade in workers' rights in a generation, delivered. Renters' Rights Act, delivered. Record funding for our NHS, delivered. The fastest growing economy in the G7.